today we're working on this 1965 Ford Econoline van. The van came in for a basic chassis inspection, check out the air ride, things like that. We had to make a few adjustments to the driveline angle. The truck was having a chronic overheat problem. It had no air intake. Since it's a mid-engine van, it had no way to get the air to the engine. So made a nice intake scoop on the bottom of the van that allows it to channel the air into the radiator, hopefully going to help him with that problem. And then the truck's going to come back. We're going to build a custom drive shaft for it. With everything being mid-mounted, the drive shaft is really short, and with the truck laying as low as it is, or as low as it does, the drive shaft obviously gets itself into a really bad bind. When it came in, the air ride was actually set up on pressure only, and we originally thought that it needed to have height sensors added to it. We got underneath it, found it had height sensors, but for some reason they had been turned off and it never was calibrated. So recalibrated it with the height sensors and doing great now.
Let's check out what we got though. What do we got? What are we working with? Yep. It's got meat, cheese, pizza sauce, crust, fucking in. Like that SpongeBob episode where the Krabby Patties come at you. Shout out Suspension Source, my dog Tyron. You know what's up, bro?
Came
got
through.
The Spinatos. Let's get after it. I want my mouth full of your meat, Tyron.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
All right, so today we have a 1970 Chevelle. Came in for some air ride issues, came in for just chassis upgrades, that kind of thing. Shock waves all the way around, and the rears were completely blown out to the fact that the bags were full of oil, fun stuff like that. At least this is good to show the customer that the bags are no good. So just a redo, do a new, like I said, new shock waves, new management. The air system on it was an older, much older system. So we're upgrading it to an Accuair system to make it ride a lot nicer, be a lot more user-friendly, and just getting everything all in order for the customer. It's Accuair E-Level, so it's the Accuair E-Level Plus. By air compressors, gonna go with a VT tank. Before, the air system was kind of spread out in the trunk. There was a tank off to this side, and some of the valves were over here, compressor over there. So now I've tucked everything up nicely into the trunk. Gave him a little bit of room. He'll actually have some storage space, maybe put a cooler of beer, soda, soda and waters only in the back of the car when he goes to car shows. Remember, no beer. Tools, that's what he's putting in there. Tools for survival at a car show. But yeah, just kind of make it a little bit nicer and clean it up for the guy. It's a super cool car, big block car. Looks like it was built to be a race car at one point in its life. It's got a lot of really cool mods underneath and everything else. So excited to get it back to him and get it all working great for him, so he'll be happy with it and be able to take it cruising. Sometimes you just gotta lay on the ground and admire your work.
What's up, guys? This is Tom with Switch Suspension, and this is Whip Check Wednesday. This is my 1965 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. We call it a runaway. Little short story about this car. My buddy James, who's actually in the back doing all the work that we got in here, he's a very talented individual. He painted the car, and right after I'd gotten it back, we'd gotten the motor in, it was running a little choppy, parked it out in front of my house, went inside, left it running, came outside, and the fucker was gone. I thought somebody stole it, only to find out when I got into the street that it was halfway down the street and was parked against my neighbor's house, idling. That's when I dropped to my knees and realized exactly what had happened. Car threw itself into reverse, took itself for a joyride. That was the end of that story. So put a little damper in the build. We were able to get it fixed. My buddy James had his own shop at the time, and he got it fixed, and it looks like it does right now. Interior was done by a good friend of mine, JP, with JP Concepts. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Rest in peace. He did a really good job, man. He did double stitching. I've got leather on the inside. I got all my inserts from Ciadella. I believe that they're out of a 55 Chevy. It's full air suspension. We've got Slam Specialties airbags, full airlift, 3H system on it, so it rises on its own, on the fly. It's a really comfortable ride. I've got Ride Tech shocks all the way around, which are adjustable, so I can really dial in my ride and make sure that it's driving down the road right. I've had this car for quite some time. I think I'm looking at about 16 years. It was white before we started, so we decided to do a color change on it. Been working on it ever since, man. I am not a rich man. I know that the exterior of the car may suggest otherwise, but it's been a long and drawn out process. We shaved all the door locks on it. I really wanted to keep the door handles intact and keep the body lines for the car, so I didn't really want to fully shave it. Did an actuated popper on the inside so we can pop the trunk, get in there. We have done some subtle body changes on here, one of which was a good friend of mine, Metal Mike. We put a dual antenna on this car that really kind of stands out above the rest of them. I shaved the front antenna off there, which was electric, and did the dual antennas. He did the nice little spike and a teardrop on it. Turned out fucking great. Again, unfortunately, he is no longer with us. Rest his soul. We were going with like a early 70s, late 60s custom look, you know. I actually had 36 spoke Buick Star wires on it before I had these wires on it. The Star wires were beautiful on it. I loved it, man. Unfortunately, they just weren't pretty enough for the car. So my buddy Jason, who's also working with us in the back, had a set of these black China wires on there, which kind of sets it against the black color on the car. Well, this is one of those things where it looks finished on the outside, but it's not all the way finished on the inside. So we're getting there. James has been helping me out with my trunk setup. We've got our Square Tank sponsor here. Big thanks to the guys here at Switch Suspension. You've got my airlift manifold that's all mounted right there. So we're working on laying out the trunk setup right now. But we like where we're at right now, man. It's a great car. I've driven it back and forth to California. We really built it as a driver so that I could really enjoy the car. My family can enjoy the car. I can fit everybody in it. I fucking love this thing. And make sure you like, subscribe, follow, you know, do all the things that help us here at Switch Suspension. Get it done.
Wonder why you're holding the steering wheel the other day?
Yeah. Try it on.
Oh, he knows. Oh, he knows.
Damn. Yeah.
See? I could spot a big hole out of nowhere. It's not my personal choice.
Hey guys, I'm here with the chassis from Choppin Block for the 54 Chevy pickup. We've taken this from unloading it from the crate and bare steel to us getting everything together, sending it off, have it powder coated, brought it back, assembled the chassis, have gone through now and done the brakes for it. So we're using a Willwood brake system, 12-inch rotor brake system. We're using Accuair with E-level and the VT tank for our air suspension. We have the Aeromotive fuel pump. I'm on to the fuel system and the air suspension system. So we're currently doing our hardline for our brakes, our fuel, and our air setup, so that when this goes back to the customer, they're going to be mounting their body, engine, transmission, and then it may or may not come back through here for final assembly. Stainless steel hardline with the swage lock fitting into the frame, basically blind bulkhead. We'll be switching to a DOT plastic line inside the frame and running to our different areas. What we wanted for the customer is just a short runs of hardline, keeps it nice and neat, keeps everything off the frame. Our fuel line and brake lines will be run full length outside the frame, because originally I think we were just going to do a little bit of it and then we started in with a little bit more. It seems that's become across the board. A lot of these guys are now purchasing the frame, getting the basic plumbing and all done on the frame. Some of them are going as far as getting the engine, transmission, everything's plumbed and runs and ready to go. And then you take it home and, you know, set your own body, or take it home and chill out and wait for, you know, more funds or time or whatever and bring back. It's overwhelming sometimes building one on your own from start to finish. I mean, I've built a few of my own that way, and it takes a little bit of discipline to get up every day and go out and work on it. When you get to those tough times where you're to a difficult part that takes a lot of time and or the money factor kicks in, it can be really a daunting task. Well, because it snowballs, you know, even as a painter, you're like, oh, this Nova here, yeah, we're gonna repaint this, change the color, so we're gonna tear everything down and redo it. And then you're like, oh, we found some rust here, or, you know, that back window is looking a little scratched, so we might as well, oh crap, we might as well get all new glass. And yeah, it don't take much then to get discouraged.
God, if somebody had a dead blow in their hand instead of a fucking camera, shit could be getting done right now. Gay Vance. Vance prophesied. Oh shit! Look! Oh yeah, he's not gay no more! Oh my god, I've done these boxes that short before. Vance is out there showing off his truck, fucking taking pictures. I pulled my 2-wheel drive truck up on the curb. I mean, your 4-wheel drive truck can't even do that.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of This Old House. I'm Jason.
And James.
And today we're going to make a flower planter out of this 88 Suburban using old pallets.
Hey everyone, we're here with our 81 to 87 inner fender wells that we're doing for the Suburban over here. Got everything seam sealed, sprayed some self-etch primer. Now we're gonna move on. We're gonna do our Raptor liner on the insides here. And then tomorrow we'll finish up with the tan paint job on the outside to match. So we've got our color on the fender wells. We've been through all the steps. We've got the bed liner on the inside, blacked out on the back. Everything's coated so that we won't have any rust. All the seams have been seam sealed. We've got our tan factory color for the Suburban on here. We're gonna go into our clear now. We use this spray can clear catalyzed. It's really nice for around the shop because we don't gotta fire up a whole quart of clear and a gun and make a big mess. This makes me able to do smaller projects a little quicker. Yeah, I'm gonna let them flash and then I'll get them out in the sun. If I push them out in the sun right now, it can actually bubble because the underneath coat, the first coat, is still trying to dry while the other one's trying to skin and it can't get the fumes out. It's why it'll pop. That's why I had to do them this morning. In the afternoon yesterday, that primer, everything was drying like instantly. Yeah, I don't think they came out too bad.
What's for lunch, boys?
Wieners. We got wieners.
You trying to get you to go with us.
What do you
so
think
wanna
of your?
come out.
You see your bumper sticker?
No.
You don't want to?
I gotta say, it's very fitting.
You should have never told him. He'd have left it too.